Recording live from the Northeast Georgia Business RadioX studio, this is Northeast Georgia Business Radio. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to yet another amazing episode of Northeast Georgia Business Radio. We are live. We're recording live from the beautiful Empower College and Career Center of Jackson County. And yes, I have with me another amazing guest, because all my guests are amazing. It's very simple. Josh Smithson. Smithson. I knew I was going to blow that, Josh. You're laughing at me. We haven't even started the interview. Josh Smith. That's a tongue twister. Josh, how in the world are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I was doing better about 2 minutes ago.
Oh, we're good.
Engage Media. That's you.
That's me.
Engage for Events. That's your website. We'll give that out later.
Okay.
Josh Smithson from Engage Media. I bet you do media stuff.
We do events.
Oh, okay.
It's all events.
Branding, something, putting it all together. Talk to me, man.
So live events,
Live event. Okay, okay, yeah, that's good too.
So basically, we say event marketing, but that's everything from a trade show or a conference all the way down to when somebody sponsors a golf tournament. Basically, if it's face-to-face. So, we don't do the social media. We don't do print advertising. It's creating experiences at events.
Tangible things you can see, you can smell, you can touch, and if people are tasting it, that might be odd.
We've done that.
Have you really?
Taste and smell, all five senses. Yeah.
So that could be a whole new name. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Tell me a little bit about the man. How'd you get involved with all this?
Oh, boy.
Preface this, change names and locations creatively to protect the innocent or the not so innocent.
I had a marketing background
Okay.
with a general agency insurance company, and then I did some stuff for Sam's Club regionally, and somehow that transitioned into being a caddy at a golf course.
Oh, wow.
I know. And
hey.
that transitioned into opening car washes at golf courses, and then I ended up having one.
You're that guy.
I'm that guy.
How about that?
I had one of the largest car wash auto detail companies in Atlanta, and got out of that just before the pandemic and got back into marketing.
I hear you. And here came Engage, and off you go.
That's it.
Nice. So this is probably a silly question, but I'm not real bright. I think we've already proven that. Why do we need event marketing? Why event marketing?
So I hate social media. No, it's event marketing to me has a soul.
Okay.
It's personal.
Back to that tangible thing?
Yeah, I mean you're talking to people, you're creating emotions, People get on social media, Facebook, what have you, and they can say what they want, and there's no consequences. You're not interacting. You're not building a relationship.
Right, and people tend to be 10 foot tall on social media.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's cool to go to different events and draw out people's emotions. We like to say that we want to create interactions that evoke reactions. Right?
Oh, I like that.
And
I like that a lot.
So whether that we want to create experiences where there's laughter, some kind of intrigue, an aha moment, surprise, even crying. Because we want our clients to build a relationship with their clients, and you're going to do that through face-to-face, not through a flyer in the mail.
Swiping and clicking. And
Correct.
I get you.
Correct.
That makes sense. Is it a real competitive market, what you guys are doing?
It's very broad, and I'll say pre-pandemic.
It sounds very broad. In my mind, I'm trying to narrow it down.
I mean, so pre-pandemic, everything was so digital, right? And then you hit COVID, and everybody's stuck in their house, and they realize how much they crave that face-to-face interaction. I mean, it's like doing this podcast, right?
Right.
It's so much better being here and not doing it on like a Zoom call.
No, I agree with you.
Know what I mean?
I totally agree with you on that.
So that's amplified when you go to some kind of, let's just use a trade show because we do a lot of those.
Right.
And you've got 10,000 people there, and there's 300 vendors. How do you stand out?
I got you.
And how do you connect? That's the biggest thing.
So I guess the pressure's on when you have to do that.
Yeah. So and it's different. It varies. Every event's different. If we go do a town festival, that's completely different than doing a trade show or a conference in Vegas. So it's really trying to find a way to help our clients connect with their clients and create that relationship.
Okay, now we're in a small town. Mm-hmm. We're in Jefferson, Georgia, and there's many small, amazing small towns around us. There's a lot of festivals.
Oh, yeah.
Spring festival, fall festival. I feel like having a festival. When you say you do a festival, let's look behind the curtain just a little bit. What are you doing? Are you planning the entire event?
So,
or maybe just working for specific vendors or
it can be
guests?
both. It can be both. So, like recently, we did Beer Fest, Swanee Beer Fest. It's actually the largest beer fest in the country.
It is.
They even had vendors from like Hawaii. It was crazy.
Oh yeah.
So we did a job for them where we used a roaming photo booth. We went around, took pictures of different folks in their costumes, dressed up like leprechauns and whatnot.
Right.
And we'd share them with them instantly, text them to them. They'd share them on social media, and so we did this big gig for them. But that, at the same time, we've done festivals for entertainment companies or something like that where we're at their booth. We look like them. We're wearing their stuff.
I got you.
But we're representing them, and we're helping them connect with their clients. So it can be either or.
I got you. Again, it is broad. It really is broad.
It is.
What are some missteps that you see? I'm sure others. I doubt Engage Media honestly makes some very many mistakes. I'm not saying you're perfect, but hey, you can be pretty good too. But what are just some common missteps?
So actually, we made a mistake at Beer Fest.
Oh wow! But hey, it was Beer Fest, and a lot of people don't remember it.
But that was part of the problem. All right, so there's kind of 6 steps that we always follow when we create a strategy for clients.
Okay.
And so the first one that everybody gets is, what is the event? Is it a festival? Is it a golf outing? Is it a trade show? Are they doing their own brand activation? A pop-up, a tour of their facility, whatever the case is. Everybody gets that one right. It's pretty obvious. Right?
Yeah, that one should stand out.
Right.
That should, yeah.
The next step is they always go into, what are we trying to accomplish? And for us, they skip the biggest step, and that is, what are the attendees there for?
Gotcha. Right? At the end of the day,
why are they there?
Why
are you there?
Right, I got you.
And so that's where we kind of messed up with Beer Fest. We don't usually set up our own booths and everything like that. And so we did Beer Fest, we did the roaming photo booth, and they told us we could set up our own booth. And so I was like, okay, cool, we'll advertise, for ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I skipped that step. Why is everybody there? Well, they're there to get drunk and
indulge.
Yeah, right.
We like to say indulge around here. We are at the Empower Center, so indulge.
By the 3rd hour, some people couldn't remember their phone numbers, and we're trying to input them into a photo booth and send them, and we're trying to show all these cool features, and they just want to take a quick picture and get back to
indulging.
And so I think that step is the biggest key that I've seen is, and we kind of feel like people show up for one of 3 reasons. They're either there for fun, they're there for their business or their job, or they're there for you.
Gotcha.
And so when people kind of step back and look at that and go, okay, why are they here? Then that kind of changes the direction, your strategy of everything you're trying to develop.
I got you. So I guess at the end of the day, it's a success or a failure if you meet that criteria that you just talked about.
Yeah, and I think every time we meet with a new client, almost 9 out of 10 times, we'll say, what are you hoping to accomplish at this?
Right.
They'll say brand awareness. And that's the go-to because there's no real way to gauge that. So they can't say they failed.
Wouldn't that be more of a long-term thing, something
exactly
like a year from now, okay, we didn't do good branding this, or we did a really great job branding this?
Well, so to use something recently in the news, and not to hit the political side of it, just to say, look at Bud Light, right? So
they're in a little fire right now.
Tons of brand awareness, but are they connecting with their clients? Are they connecting with their customers? And so that's, to us, brand awareness is just this kind of mythical. It's in the ether. It's not. You can't put a number to it.
Right. Right.
And so we try to go beyond that and say, you can be there for brand awareness. A lot of people, they'll sponsor a golf tournament. They'll put their logos up. Mm-hmm. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
But we try to take it a step further and give them some definitive ROI and show some results and show them how
So you do that.
That's what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
You try to show them more or less what they're paying for, what they got out of it. And
We want to make
that sounds simple. I know it's not.
It's you want to create that experience that creates that relationship, and part of the problem is a lot of our clients don't know who their customers are. And
that could be a problem.
Right, it is. They go to these festivals or they go to these trade shows and they try to do this just blast out to everybody. You can scan 500 badges at a trade show. It doesn't mean that those are prospects. Now you've got to spend time with your employees calling 500 people to get 490 people saying, "Oh, I just scanned my badge so I could get your free hat."
Yeah, I got you. So they need to narrow down maybe a lowest common denominator. No, folks, we're not talking math here. But no, who can or may be willing to buy their service or their product.
Yeah, exactly. And again, especially, and I use trade shows, but you can use a festival as the same way. There might be 5 vendors that do the exact same thing that our client does.
Right.
How are you going to stand out? How are you going to create that relationship? It's not just spin a prize wheel and put them on an email list. We really want to dig deeper than that. And so that's just, we try to give our clients direction and help them with those kind of things, no matter if it's a small city festival or it's, we've done trade shows in Vegas with tens of thousands of attendees. It takes up the whole Vegas Convention Center.
Gotcha. There's probably just some things that carry over through all of that.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Just principles.
It's almost always that emotional connection or that surprise or aha moment or, and there's different ways. We let our clients, you really can do 4 things. You can be there for exposure. You can set up a booth, show off your company. You can do swag, which, everybody gets pens and koozies
that no one uses anymore.
Exactly. So that's kind of step 2, and then you take it to step 3, and you can do. Some companies can do demos.
Corporate America,
awesome.
Please stop making koozies.
Please.
I love the koozie manufacturers; they're great people. But
if you're going to give me a pen, give me a good one.
Half of them are dead when you get
that's
them.
That's it. And so you go beyond that swag, and you can do a demo for some companies. Some companies can't. It depends.
Depending on what they're doing.
And then, the kind of ultimate is that experience, which is where we try to step in and create something cool, and it's weird. The best ones I've seen at shows or at festivals are the ones that you wouldn't think would be there. So we had this one, we do IAPA, which is a entertainment expo in Orlando.
Okay.
It's all the bounce houses and roller coasters, and it's crazy stuff, right? So we see everything there.
Right.
And then we did this other one. It was a wedding show. And there was a bounce house company there. And I was like, that's so weird. Because you don't think you're going to see that. Well, so what they did is they partnered with they sell wings, a company and their employees wear orange shorts. They partnered with them, and they put them in their bounce houses. It was the busiest booth I saw.
I bet it was.
At the wedding. And it was
for several probably reasons.
Right. Completely unexpected. So now they were across.
As it would be.
They were across the aisle from us, our client. And our client did dresses and stuff like that. And so what we did was we set a bunch of chairs out. Once we realized what was going on, they had this huge crowd. So we went to the store that evening. We bought a bunch of chairs. We bought some little like camping chairs and tables and coolers. Put a bunch of beer out, stuff like that, and drinks. And
beverages.
And all of the husbands their wives were at our client's booth doing the wedding dresses. The husbands were hanging out in the chairs. We were giving them beverages, and they were enjoying the show across the aisle. And it ended up, from day 1 to day 2, our client, they did triple the amount of women coming to the booth.
Opportunity presented itself.
Right. So, it's just, again.
Ever evolving.
It's creating that experience. They did a great job across the aisle.
They did.
We just kind of capitalized on it.
You worked off of it.
So
I saw on your website, all-inclusive marketing.
So
is that? I don't know what that is. I go to all-inclusive resorts.
So
for a reason. So you offer all-inclusive marketing
for an event, yeah. So sometimes we'll have a client
just based around that specific event.
That specific event. Now, sometimes that event carries across. We've done pop-ups where they'll go to 10 different cities, and we'll design that entire pop-up experience, how they're demoing their product, what they're giving away.
But that's going to be roughly the same event, just over and over again, different places.
Repeated, yeah.
I got you.
And so that's kind of the all-inclusive, where we're going from what are you trying to create? What's your theme? Who's your client? What do you know, where all of that versus sometimes it's as simple as we have a client they do 12 trade shows a year, and they've got a $300,000 booth that they take to each trade show.
Gotcha.
And then we provide them with photo experiences that they just incorporate into what they already have. So that's not the all-inclusive. That's just here we're adding an experience to what you have versus sometimes
you're adding to what they've
yes.
got.
So sometimes we do that. Sometimes we create the entire experience.
In that case, a $300,000 display.
Yeah,
you would do that as well. You guys pack it up, move it?
No.
Okay.
We
just design it. You don't build it.
We design it. We'll help them run it. So I spend a lot of time in Vegas and Orlando. That's just trade show hotspots.
Right.
Which is why we've been trying to do more local stuff. The fun thing about being here, being more local. I grew up in Buford. I used to hunt where the Mall of Georgia was. There was nothing here.
Rabbit hunting. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's fun to work with the smaller companies because you can show them all these experiences they can create, and they don't have to spend. A mom and pop, company doesn't have a pest control or a pool cleaner. They may not have these huge budgets,
right?
But we can still create something super fun and cool when they go to a festival or they sponsor a golf tournament and make something different that really they can see the results and drive business to them.
Good segue. I was about to ask you: is there this is not a fair question, a quote unquote an average budget, a budget you would like to see to work with?
$1 million.
I know. I was about to say, $10 million.
No, so,
but I mean, seriously.
I'll say this. So, and we were kind of talking about this pre-show. Is a lot of people when they see us at we're involved with a lot of chambers and stuff like that. In fact, one guy walked up to me that was a chamber guy at the beer fest. He was like, "Photo booth guy," and I'm like,
"Photo booth guy,"
because that's just kind of what they see, right? So, with a lot of the smaller companies, we'll lean into creating experiences that are photo based because a lot of what we want to do is we want to create that experience, but at whatever event our client's at, but we want that experience to reach beyond the event, right? And so we find that's where the social media can come in or the word of mouth. And so by using photo experiences, everybody's comfortable. They want to take a photo. They don't have to pull their iPhone out where one person's not in the photo type thing. And so we'll do photo experiences. And, for one of our clients that's doing something smaller, even if it's a multi-day, something like that, or a festival, we can give them a killer interactive photo or video set up for like $1,500.
Nice.
And when they look at what their average client, what they're making on them and everything like that, and driving that traffic, it's so much better than, you spend $1,500 with a prize wheel, giving out the hats and the koozies and the pins, and
more koozies,
right? And you get nothing for it,
right?
So and that's part of we have software for the photo booth stuff, and it collects data. We can do surveys. We can add people to their marketing list right from when they're taking the photos and stuff. Yeah. So it's.
You're doing a lot more than just providing a photo.
Oh yeah. So when you see us at a chamber event like we did the Jackson Derby or something like that, with one of our 360 booths and stuff like that, that's what we consider more of a party. It's not a corporate client. Whereas where it's corporate, we're doing, they're taking that photo, they're getting a text. That text takes them to a sharing site where we put advertisements for our client on there that they can click through and go to different parts of their website. And they can do a survey saying, do you want to join our mailing list, or are you interested in having a party at our venue? Whatever the case is, we want it to be that, again, ROI. We don't want to just, anybody can stand out there and take pictures. That's not the thing. So, but yeah, for $1,500, we can do something killer.
They're getting a lot more than just a photo booth.
Yes. The photo booth creates the experience.
Right.
We do the back end to create the ROI and give them the benefit of spending that money and trying to drive the clients,
Another thing I saw on your website, QR experiences. QR experiences.
So
where you hold your smartphone up and it jumps back and forth, and you try to hit your finger on the little yellow bar right at the right time, and then boom, you're locked in.
So
yes,
pre-pandemic,
who doesn't love QR experiences?
So QRs have been around forever.
They have, but they didn't catch fire till like last year or something.
The pandemic, they were dying before the pandemic.
Isn't that crazy?
And then nobody wanted to touch anything.
True.
You go to a restaurant, there's a QR code, you scan that, there's the menu on your phone.
Right.
And so we utilize that a couple different ways. We use QRs where somebody, if they do a photo experience, they can scan a QR and it gives them their photo instead of having to punch their phone number in if they don't want to share, data like that. They can do it that way. Vice versa, if they do a photo experience, they can actually scan a QR code first, input all their information, walk up to the booth, it scans their phone. They never touch the booth. They don't have to talk to anybody. It's automated.
Right.
But, sometimes we take that a step further. With QRs, you can make them dynamic now. So you can change the info after you create the QR.
Oh, nice.
And so with networking events, we've done things where we'll go to the networking event, we'll have a printer set up, a person will come up to a form, input their LinkedIn,
their bio,
contact, their the
contact info.
Yeah, they'll put that link in. It'll go to a QR code. We'll print the QR code out on a little sticker. They'll put it on their jacket or whatever they're wearing, and they'll go around this networking event. And so now you're there, you're talking to people. Maybe you don't have business cards or whatever. You can scan.
I've seen that actually.
Yeah, you scan the QR.
I've seen that.
It goes straight to their LinkedIn. You hit connect, and it's done. Because sometimes you can't find somebody.
There are companies that are leaving the business card world. Mm-hmm. They're expensive.
Oh yeah,
they can be very expensive.
Oh yeah,
they're going to the QR code. Mm-hmm. I scan your QR code instead of you giving me your business card, and boom, I download all your information. I can share mine with you.
Yeah.
In fact, this past weekend, I run into a few just like that.
Yeah,
So you set all that up.
Yeah, so that was more of an event side. So everybody could print their own, and it was just their LinkedIn profile.
Gotcha.
We've done some for when we're at a trade show where we do their entire, so each sales employee that's at the trade show, they would have their badge. We do a custom QR code for them, and when you click on that, it's all of their social media profiles.
Right.
It's PDF sales brochures that they're handing out. It's their website. Everything is on that one QR scan, and then it automatically puts their phone number in your phone.
You're setting all that up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
almost any size business can use that.
Oh, everybody can use it.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have to be careful. I had a digital business card, just had a QR code on it. And it was an NFC, so I could tap it on somebody's phone, do the same thing as a QR. Right. Set it out at this one event we did, and this old guy came up, and I was like, scan the QR. He was asking for my card, and I was like, well, I don't have traditional business cards. Just scan this.
Scan it.
It didn't quite register because I turned around. I was helping somebody. I turned back, and he had taken the business card.
He took it
with but yeah, QR codes are cool, and there's so many things you can do with them. Our clients, sometimes they use them to, business cards are expensive, but flyers are worse, or brochures. Or if you've got a 10-page booklet that's...
No one's going to go through that and read it.
No, and you don't want to hand a bunch of those out
and
see them on the floor at the show later
Trash
or something
cans.
like that. So it's nice when we can do something like that digitally where we can put the brochure up at a booth or at a festival or whatever, and they can, if somebody wants it, they can scan it,
right?
And now it's on their phone.
And if they don't, they just keep going.
Yeah, and you pay $100 to set up a QR code versus
that's
spending,
cheap.
Oh yeah, versus spending $2,000 on these booklets that you're passing out.
Oh,
so,
gosh,
we always try to be, like you're talking with the smaller businesses. We want to show them that there's things that the big guys do that the small guys can take advantage of and do as well, and get the same results.
Well, we're all about business here at Business RadioX. We're amplifying the voice of business, but we cater to the small business as well as your larger fish in the sea, I guess you should say. So that's refreshing to hear.
Oh yeah, there's so many things that just from working with the big guys over time and stuff, and that's another thing. When we develop something for a big client, we can take that, such as our photo booth software. After we spent 2 years developing it, and now we can apply it very inexpensively into scale for smaller clients. They don't have to go out and try to develop all this on their own.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
So it's our experience, it's our hardware, it's our software. We combine all that, and honestly I love working with the small businesses better. When you work with a small business, you're working with the person that's feeding their kids. You know what I mean?
They're usually heavily invested, and I don't mean money.
Yeah. It's they're running the day to day.
They're living it,
and so that's so much different than when we work with some of these giant clients, and they're multinational or international, all this kind of stuff.
It's more of a job for them.
It is, and you have a salesperson that shows up and they're doing whatever. You're not. It's more gratifying, and it's nice to see that there's such a higher benefit to the small businesses and what they can get from it.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, Josh, what did we miss? What last pearl of wisdom do you have for everybody? I love your stories, by the way. You've got some great stories.
I mean, I would say when you're doing event marketing,
Yeah.
be calculated. Don't.
What do you mean by that?
So a lot of people, they try to do something that they think is fun or cool, and it doesn't fit. There's, sometimes there's a theme, right? Or like I said, know who your customers are that are at that, who the attendees are. And they just want to bring something and do something cool. If you're at a doctor's conference, maybe cornhole isn't the best thing to bring to try to attract people in. Like create a story and make everything fit, because when you create that experience, you want it to be seamless from A to Z. And you want it all fit. And I think that's one of the biggest things outside of not knowing who the attendees are. Our clients just, they throw stuff at the wall and they think this is cool, and you want to have a story, you know what I mean?
Tell your story.
Yeah, and that, because again, what the entire event marketing, I don't care what it is, whether it's a networking event all the way up to a trade show or a conference, it's about experiences and creating relationships face to face.
Right.
And if you're creating a experience that doesn't fit, or it makes that face to face less meaningful. You know what I mean?
No, I'm with you on that.
And you're not creating a relationship. And so I think that's just the biggest thing. And that's why, like I said, event marketing has a soul. Going to an event, it's right. How many times do you talk about a Zoom call you were on versus going to the city festival, or right. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, that's just kind of why we love what we do, is you get to see that in person.
Perfect. Josh, how do people get a hold of you?
Josh Smithson on LinkedIn.
You're a big LinkedIn guy.
Yeah,
I'm learning.
I'm getting more into it.
I need you to help me with that. I'm not new to it, but I've just never done it.
I said it earlier. It's probably a weird thing to say. I hate social media, because I just feel like people aren't real on there. And
it happens often,
right?
Unfortunately.
And so the face to face, you see the real person,
right?
But LinkedIn, I feel like, is something completely different. It's so much more corporate business based. You're getting to the nitty gritty, and it's more effective.
Gotcha.
I believe.
Gotcha.
But so on LinkedIn, you can. We have Instagram and all that kind of stuff. If it's a lot of our clients like to start out before they do a corporate thing, they'll start out with a party or something, right. And just kind of see us work and operate and the stuff we'll do for them. And so we have a website for that. Engage4events.com.
Number four. Engage4events.
Yeah. So, but I mean, if it's a corporate person, look me up on LinkedIn, shoot me an email, whatever that's on there, and we'll help them out.
I hear you, man. Well, Josh, good job. See, it wasn't too bad, was it?
I don't like talking about myself.
You did great, man. They're playing my music. You know what that means.
Time to go.
I got to get rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for listening to Northeast Georgia Business Radio. Josh Smithson, Engage Media. I'm Tom Sheldon. We'll talk to you soon.